Super Kiwi 64 was made by one dude named Marcus Horn. I paid $4.50 for this game. $4.50. So a kiwi and a dog flying a plane, right? They're best friends. Best friends do that. And they crash the plane. The kiwi has to find the energy cells to get the plane going again so they can leave the island. Now, we don't know where this island is. I'm trying so hard not to make an Epstein Island joke, but I think I just did. So like in every 3D platformer, you need a main collectible. Like Banjo-Kazooie has Jiggies, Mario 64 has Power Stars, and this is the energy cells. You go into each level and you find a certain amount of energy cells in that level. Rinse and repeat. So as the kiwi, you can kind of glide. You can't really fly because kiwi can't really fly. You have this glide move, but you could also have this boost move eventually where you could boost. You could fly faster, glide faster, and it's sort of like flying. It's a cool move. I call it the sticky beak. I don't know if that's the official term for it, but you basically use your beak to stick into walls and climb up the walls. I think that was pretty cool. So in Banjo-Kazooie, right, they do a little jig when they find a Jiggy. And in Mario 64, when Mario finds a Power Star, he does a little spin and he goes, "Here we go! Here we go!" In this one, Kiwi sticks his foot out. $4.50. Give you about 2 liters of fuel. The music's okay. It's nothing like Grant Kirkhope's music or Nintendo's music. And it changes a few levels in. It alternates alright. It doesn't get too repetitive. Maybe it gets complicated. A little bit more complex in World 2. There is no World 2. This is it. You basically get one world with 8 levels in it, each with a different sort of theme to them. Would it be nice if there was a couple of worlds with 8 more levels in them? But I get it. It was just made by one guy. Can't expect much from the Hornsby, Hornswoggle. Goldie Horn. So basically, the game is pretty straightforward. You got cogs that you collect in each level, and you find all the cogs, it gives you an energy cell. There are enemies, mainly these mummy looking things, which you attack with your sticky beak move. The kiwi fruit at the top right corner is actually your health. It took me a while to realize that was actually kiwi fruit. You know, I just realized now that the health, I think that's his health, is kiwi fruit. I just realized that. I'm slow. The main game is pretty straightforward. There's no real boss fight at the end either, so... But a couple of years later, this DLC was released called Doomsday, or something like that. And that is complete chaos. I have no idea what's happening in the story or what is going on. There's this Guardian character who's on top of a clock tower, like Majora's Mask. But instead of the moon, it's this giant watermelon with a face called the Melon King. Now, I'd be more terrified of that being in the sky than the moon. So basically, Melon King attacks Guardian, and so you have to go up to the clock tower to fight the Melon King with Macbat. $4.50. In the DLC, there's only 2 levels, but I feel like both the levels are bigger than any of the levels in the main game. The first level, you're in this Tokyo, futuristic sort of Tokyo, vertical scrolling platforming level. You find the DLC's version of energy cells and you get out. And then the second level, you're in this Wild West thing with this train that has a brain, and you fight the train. There's some enemies in a field, sort of. It's pretty much the unused asset land. Mr. Horn just went, I'll put everything else in there. $4.50, I got the main game and the DLC, $4.50. At least in this level, Kiwi kind of changes his costumes up. You know, he's got a cowboy hat now and sunglasses. Overall, the gameplay was fun for what you get. It's fun. It's a pretty solid, controlled game, 3D platformer. There's just not much to it. I wish there was more than one world in the main game and more than 8 levels. At least a boss fight at the end of it. There's a boss fight at the end of the Doomsday DLC where you fight Melon King, and that's kind of cool. The end level leading up to the boss fight in the DLC is pretty cool and offers some good challenge. But there's not much to the game, honestly. The DLC makes no sense and their main game is kind of short, and $4.50. This game gets a 5. It gets a 4.5 out of 10 from me. But actually a 5.5 out of 10. I just wanted to make the joke about the $4.50 being a score at the end. I'm sorry. Love you. Why? Because that's all I could afford. And it's my channel. Subscribe. $4.50.